Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I hope that you're having a good morning so far. We're going to do a training today for new users, but we do have existing users who are here to learn more. This is a basic training for new users. We're going to cover the basic steps, but like if you have any questions, please by all means send me a message so I can assist you. My name is Vanessa. On behalf of Cerenade, I want to thank you for being here today. And this training is being recorded. We have a YouTube channel with all these videos. You can also download a PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to be using today with all these links. So please make sure that you click on handouts and you download it. All right, so let's get started. We're going to cover, like I said, the basic steps, how to create contacts, how to link members, how to create a case, and how the forms auto-populate. When you gather data from your clients, you can use the alternate view or send them questionnaires. We're also going to show you the tools under the forms section, how to send those forms to the clients so they can review or make changes. Also, how to enter notes or logs. These are the comments that you can add at the case or client level. How to gather and store the documents and letter templates, like your cover letters and everything, and how to put together the package with all the forms and all the evidence and cover letters. We're going to show you how to create reminders, how to use the case process steps, and the tickler. And like always, we show you what the resources and support options are. We're going to have a Q&A, a Did You Know section, and the upcoming training classes for the month. All right, so let's get started. I did receive a question that I was answering before we started. If you guys send me your questions, I can respond. So hopefully that person can you give me more background so I can think of any other ways to flag a case or a client. But I'll show you during the Q&A. We actually picked your question for one of the questions for Q&A. All right, so let me switch my screen. So the first thing that we're gonna cover is how to create a contact. Well, if you click on the top left of your screen, you can click on Create Client Contact and you enter the information for this contact. By the way, this could be by default your prospect. The status could show prospect, and when they retain you, then you change that to active. But that's how you differentiate your prospective clients from actual active clients. Okay, this could be an individual or a business client as well. Now, if you have a website and you want to put a link so any prospect can just get started, you can use the questionnaire that's called Anonymous. Anonymous questionnaire allows you to put a link on your website, especially now if you guys have employment-based cases for the H-1B season. I think it's a lot easier for you to send a link to the employee or the potential applicant, or so they can enter their own first, last name, email, and they create their username. We send them an email with instructions so they can get started with the questionnaire. That's called anonymous questionnaire, okay? But I'm just saying that because sometimes if you don't have the time to create 50, like 30 profiles, you can just send a bulk email and have them create their own contact. If you want to do it manually for one client, then it makes sense to click on Create Client Contact and enter the information and create the contact, okay? I'm going to show you an existing contact that I have over here to give you a better idea. See how I can access recently updated clients. If you're new, you probably don't have that much data to show. Oh, okay. I see your message. I'll read it later, but thank you for responding. So I can click on the link. It's going to take me to the profile, and I can see the data that we have already captured. For example, this could be an old client, but returning for a new case. So I still have to send her a new questionnaire to make sure we have the recent updated data, right? But that's basically how you start with creating a contact and entering all this information. You can enter it manually and save your changes. If there's nothing to save, you're not going to be able to click on the Save Changes button. The other thing to do instead of typing the information in all these fields is click on alternate view, and then select the template. For example, I can select biographic information and complete the biographic information for the client, then save, and then continue with another questionnaire. That's if you have the questionnaires. We have questionnaires that you can utilize that are in the system, such as general information for individual client, history of address, etc. Or you can create your own questionnaires. Today, we're not going to show you how to create because we have done that video before, and you can always contact us if you have any questions about that. But please know that you are able to do that, to create your own questionnaires. So with the alternate view, what it does is that it allows you to access the same questionnaire that you probably already printed for the client, and now it's time for you to type the information. So it's a lot easier for you to follow the same pattern, the same flow, right, with the same questionnaire that the client is bringing back to you. Well, now it's time for you to just enter the information. Let's say the correct information was Gonzalez, and then just click on the disk to save the changes. It's going to give you a green bar notification on top that says the form has been saved successfully in the server. So now you can safely move to a different questionnaire. So now that I've got your general information, it's time for me to ask you questions about your history of addresses, for example. So again, as you can see, by using the alternate view, I can access these questionnaires or templates. I can enter the information or simply review. You can also print these if in the, maybe the client wants a copy of the questionnaires completed. You could give them a copy of these questionnaires with all the data that we have at the moment. So it's probably easier for them to go home, review, and then highlight or write down on the paper the changes necessary. And that's if they're not tech savvy. Because if they are tech savvy, by all means, just send them the link. They can do it on the phone. They can do this from their, like any device, a tablet, PC, Mac. Okay. But step number one would be create a contact, enter as much information as possible, and don't forget to save your changes. Because if you don't if you don't save changes and you go to a different section, when you come back, it's going to be gone. And so make sure that if you're going to enter information, click Save Changes. You get the green bar on top, and then you can safely move to a different section of the profile. Okay? Let me know if you guys have any questions at any point. This is your training, and I want to answer your questions. We will have a Q&A anyways, but throughout the training, if you have any questions, please message me. The second step after you create the contact and enter data is to link the family members. The family members are definitely not your clients, or at least not yet, but you want to link them to your client so you understand the relationship, if it's, the daughter, the son, the spouse, or the parents, a joint sponsor. You want to link them because you want their data to also transfer to the forms. And also because, excuse me, also because they might become a client in the future and you already have a contact profile for them. The way you link a member is by clicking here, link member, search, although most likely they're not going to be in the system if you're new. So just create a contact at the bottom. You do need to create a contact for them, but don't generate a number. You cannot check this box because you're not going to give them a client number. They are not a client, but you still need to create a contact for them. Enter their first and last name, the gender, the email, whatever is necessary, date of birth, and create the contact and select the relationship. She's the daughter, son, spouse, and then click link. Once you go through that, then it's going to show up here. You're going to see the names, the relationship type, and then if you click on the name, it's going to open their corresponding profile. Now, I suggest that you leave this blank or you enter a 0, or you can put not a client, just a member, like whatever you want. And if they become a client in the future, you can generate a number, designate a number for them. Okay. But again, it's important that you create a contact for the family members and enter their necessary information. You don't have to necessarily complete everything. As long as you enter the basic information, it's going to auto-populate. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions. You can unlink someone. It's going to ask you, are you sure? You can click OK. Maybe I linked someone by mistake, or I can link anyone to the profile. Now, if I link someone, let's say, I'm going to pick the daughter. So I'm going to click on her profile, and I don't have to retype the same address because it's the same address as the mother, my client. When you go to the addresses section, you're going to click on from, copy from the mother. But don't click on the name, click on the word select. It's going to copy the address that's in the mother's profile. Okay, let me do it one more time. I mean, this one had already information. So let me pick someone that doesn't have any data. Oh, this one. Okay, so I can do it for the abroad address. I can click on copy from and then select. It will transfer the information that's in the other profile, which is this one. Okay, the mothers. Let me know if you have any questions about that. Those little tricks will save you time, and it's a matter of just practicing. Of course, you're going to have questions if you're new. We're going to go over technical support options for you. But please, right now, if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, so once you create the contact, once you link the members and you enter their data, step number 3 is to click on cases. You're going to click on create case, and it's going to take you through the case wizard. This is where you select the location or branch, your department, the name of your law firm or organization, the type of process. By the way, if you're new, please know that this is customizable for non-immigration cases as well. Okay, so we have clients that use it for other areas of law, not just immigration, and you can customize these so that you can hide the ones that you don't need, and you can create or rearrange the ones that you do need. Okay, so it's easier for your staff to just click and go. Okay, I chose my department, my process. If you are a non-profit organization, you can also customize the type of program to select a grant or the category as well. All these are customizable. Trust me, the more you customize, the better for your reports. We do have a new feature where you can make required fields. This is just an example. Obviously, you can disable these, but just to give you an idea, I can make these require where I select the jurisdiction for court cases or like the application date. All right, so next step is where I see the attorney's info that will transfer to the forms. It looks like we have a question. How can we customize the type of cases? You have to go to the administrative portal. So go to the admin and click on case process and case categories. That's where you do it. If you don't see the option for administrator, you have to contact your administrator. Okay, so for the case workers, you can add on a case-by-case basis. And I'll select a paralegal or maybe an administrator. So you can select your team for this particular case. Maybe you need a delegate. And so it's important that you link them. You just select the name, click, and it's going to add them to the case. Maybe I have a set of like paralegals or case workers by default, which is easier, and it's also from the administrative portal. So you don't have to do it like I just did manually. So you click next, and then you see the role, the case parties. This is where you select the actual role. Who's the petitioner? Who's the beneficiary, derivative, alien? So you select the role. It's not the same as linking the members, which is what we talked earlier. Okay, so select. So I chose Valeria as the petitioner, and the spouse is going to be the alien. Why not beneficiary? It's just faster when you select alien, but it's okay if you want to go with beneficiary. You just have to click extra clicks. That's it. I'm going to click next, and then I see the forms by default. Well, this checklist can also be customized from the administrator portal, so make sure that you access the admin, click on case processes, and click on forms if you want to modify the checklist by default. You can always delete a form. You can always search for a form. I can search by just the number and click and add. And again, you can make your forms checklist by default. Okay, you click create, and it's going to take you to the case window. Now I'm going to stop really quick because I want to see if you guys have any questions about these steps. Go ahead and click on your screen to vote. Okay, so I do see a lot of people asking questions on these, so I'm going to quickly recap, okay? Just bear with me. There's a question that says, can you please repeat how we can customize additional forms? Yes, so let's go over that. On the top right, you're going to see an icon that says settings. If you go to the administrative tools, that means that you have access to the admin. So click there. This is the administrative portal. So when you're here in the admin, click on case processes. The one that I was just working on is called adjustment of status. And so I'll find the process and click on this icon. See, this one says forms. So I'm going to click on the circle for forms, and I can customize the way that the forms checklist will look like for an adjustment of status. So on a default base, like moving forward, the default checklist for forms for adjustment of status will be this. Okay, so again, if I see a form that I don't need, I'll just delete it from here so my staff doesn't have to delete manually the forms. Now, if you create the case and you want to add a form on the spot, maybe this is a different type of case and it requires a different form, then it's okay. You can just go to forms and add the form, search the form. Maybe again, I'll just add the same one that I deleted. So let's type the number, click find, select, and add. That's how you can add additional forms on, on a case by case basis. Now, the other question someone asked how we can customize the type of cases. It's the same process. Go to the administrative portal. Let me open in a separate tab. Once you get here in the admin, you can click on case categories like employment-based, family-based, criminal cases, like anything, not just for immigration. We have clients that use it for social services too. And then if you want to customize the type of cases, then go to processes. That's where you need to go. How can you delete a case once created even with admin rights? I'm not able to. Let's see. If you go to the admin, click on users, and make sure that if you open your profile, if you scroll down, you're going to see delete. Make sure that this is checked. If it's not, then you're saying that even with admin access, you're not able to, then there's probably an issue that our technical support team they have to look at your screen. Because once this is enabled, when you go to the case and click on general info, basic information, you're going to see the delete button. When you try to delete, it's going to ask you, are you sure? And then you can click OK. All right. I'm going to continue with the presentation, and I do see more questions coming in. I will take care of those. I will check. Thanks. You're welcome. Um, I see your question about the questionnaires. I will cover that in a moment. Just really quick for those that asked me to recap, we talked about creating a contact profile first, enter the information here, and save the changes. Then step 2, you click on members, and you want to link click link member to create a contact or search for the contact that you want to link and select the relationship and then click link. Step 3 is where you click on cases and you create the case and follow the steps for the case wizard. Follow the yellow brick road. So once you do that, it's going to take you to a window like this where you have the forms ready for you to work on. Okay, those are the 3 basic steps. But please let me know if you guys have any other questions. I'm going to cover, I already talked about the alternate view, so I am going to cover questionnaires. Okay, let me see. Okay, so what I'm going to do is play a video on how to send these questionnaires. Let me move this out of the way. And please message me if you have any questions while we play the video.
Hello, and welcome to our Cerenade video. In this video, we will discuss sending out questionnaires and intake forms. From the home page, click on the quick links, and from there, select Questionnaires. A pop-up will appear giving us some options from emailing the questionnaire, printing and viewing the questionnaire, and lastly, the ability to create an anonymous questionnaire link to be able to plug into your website. If we click on Print and View, it will list all your questionnaires and intake forms. You can go into one by clicking on the Open button. And from inside, you can print. Also, something to note is you can change the language on the questionnaire. Your clients will also have the ability to view them in different languages. Let us exit the print view and proceed to select Email the questionnaire. You'll be asked to either locate a client profile or create a new one. If we create a new client profile, a pop-up will appear asking for some details about the client. Once you have added some info, proceed to click on Create Contact. Our client will be listed, but we must now create some login credentials for the client. These will be the credentials they will use for the client portal. If you've entered an email, the email will be listed here. The username also defaults to the email. However, you can insert any username you would like. The password is automatically generated, but same as a username. You can uncheck the auto-generate password and insert your own. Proceed to click on Save. You should now be prompted to a default email. Your client's email is already listed and the message is already set. You have the option of adding more details to the message or even selecting a letter template you created in the admin portal. If everything looks good, proceed to click on Email. Your client has now received the email to access the client portal, but we still haven't selected the questionnaires. The next screen prompts us to select it. When we click Select Questionnaires, all the questionnaires and intake forms you created will be listed. You can choose to check from the list here, or if you associated questionnaires to a case process, select that process, and it will list those questionnaires and intake forms. Once you have those questionnaires and intake forms selected, proceed to click on Save. The client will now be able to see the questionnaires you selected. You will be prompted to another screen where you can notify the client about the questionnaire you just sent, and even send another email about the credentials, in case you were sending questionnaires to a client who has not used the client portal in a while. Once finished, you can click on Close. It is now up to your client to answer and submit those questionnaires. If you ever need to see what they have done on the questionnaire, you can go into your mailbox, and from the mailbox, go to your outbox. Those questionnaires will be there with the last saved info. You can also view the information in their client profile. If you go to the Documents tab, there is a Questionnaires Form section where it will show any questionnaire that has been sent to the client. Once your clients submit the questionnaires, they will appear in your mailbox, specifically the inbox, and from there, you have the option of accepting. This concludes our video on sending questions.
Now, I do want to clarify something. On the top of your screen, there are going to be tiny icons. So the first one is the one that will give you a number if you have a questionnaire and form pending to review. Let's take a look. I'm going to send one just so that you guys can see what happens. I just don't want to use that client because I have already sent a bunch of questionnaires for her. So give me 1 second. I'm going to say, oh, I know what to do. I'm going to log in as a client. Honestly, when you guys create an account for them. Try to keep it as simple as possible. I suggest the password to be as simple as 1234. They can change the password anyways, right here, change password. So they can use whatever it's easier for them. This is an example of a client that has received questionnaires in her mailbox. You can also send these questionnaires by a link that doesn't require a password. I'm going to use this example. You can customize your own questionnaires or you can use the ones we have. You can also send them in different languages. Clients will see the data that's already in the system. This is a questionnaire that's asking more than just immigration questions like marketing info. Is this the first time you contact us? Yes, it's the first time. And there's a follow-up question. How did you hear about us? So I'll just say Facebook. We want to track all these leads or prospective clients to know how they heard about the law firm. And also this one is asking for the US resident address. So let's just pick an address and let's pick the zip code, the state. Anyway, so I'm just showing you what happens when the client completes a questionnaire. They can upload their files. This is like previous addresses. Let me just pick a different one. And they'll submit. When they submit a questionnaire, you will get an email. Whoever triggered the questionnaire, if you're the paralegal or attorney who sent the questionnaire, the email goes to you. But if you're not in the office, anyone can take over and review the questionnaire. Okay, so let's go over that. Now you guys should see the icon that I was talking about. See the number 1 on the top right? Okay, I'm moving my mouse. If I see a number there, it's because I have a questionnaire to review or a form. Click on that icon. It will take you to the inbox that the video was mentioning. This is your mailbox. And then here's the name of the client, the questionnaire received, and who sent the questionnaire, who was the caseworker who triggered or initiated the questionnaire. When was this questionnaire created or sent to the client? We're going to open the questionnaire. And I like the system change like the highlights. It paints like it highlights in red or pink, I guess, the different modified fields. So it's easier for you to just identify the changes. You're going to click here on the top, accept, and that information will auto-populate the profile. So let's take a look. If we go to her contact profile, we can see what is it that I entered, like the previous, oh, it was the address. Address information is right here, right? And so as long as you accept the questionnaire, then the data will populate. Now, sometimes clients don't submit. They, for example, let's say she completes this relatives questionnaire. She sees, okay, well, I need to link my spouse. So she's going to enter her spouse's information. Let's say his name is Peter Smith. And let's add Peter's date of birth. And then over here, we have add another. So your client can add as many relatives as necessary. So maybe they have a daughter and her name is Stephanie. Again, she's adding the information, but guess what? Client doesn't enter the information. The client doesn't submit. They enter the information, but they don't submit. They click save and they get confused. They think, okay, I'm done. But actually, the question is still here in her contact or her client portal. Well, if you go into your caseworker portal, access their contact profile, click on documents, and then you'll see questionnaires and forms. So you're gonna see that this questionnaire that we sent this date, if you open it, you're gonna see the highlights, the changes. So you don't have to wait until she submits. You can click on submit on behalf of client and accept. By doing that, I'm bringing the data and now I have the information for the spouse and the daughter. So I can move on. Let me know if you have any questions regarding the questionnaires. The other option for you guys would be, I want to send the questionnaire to Patricia, but I want to send this passwordless link. Maybe there is a questionnaire like the relatives questionnaire that she has to continue completing, or so you can select the questionnaire, click save, and then decide, do I want to send this questionnaire in Spanish? Do I want to send this via text message, via email, or I want to copy the link to a clipboard to paste it on WhatsApp or WeChat or I don't know, Teams? You can copy and paste the link. And that link will be the one they click on to complete the questionnaire. It doesn't require the password and they can use a Mac, iPhone, Android, any device, any browser. All right. Let's close this. I'm not going to send that, but please let me know if you have any questions. Now it's time for you to learn what happens with all this data. Now I have all the information from the contact profile. I created the case and it's time for me to populate the forms. So let's learn the auto-populating form features. Let me know if you guys have any questions, okay? Thank you so much. You can message me.
Hello, and welcome to our Cerenade video. In this video, we will go over how to make forms auto-populate with client info. In our previous video, we showed you how to create a case for family-based cases and employment-based cases on step 3 of the Create Case wizard. In this video, we will visit an already existing case to see how the forms populate. Let us search for a case by clicking on Cases on the home page. We will proceed to search for the case by inputting the case name or client name. Once found, click on the case number or the Edit button, which will take us into the case. Now, before we begin, something to consider is seeing how our clients are linked to the case and having a separate tab open taking us to our client profile. From the tabs on the right, click on Case Parties. On the Case Parties tab, you will see your clients linked to the case as well as a role given to them on the case. These roles will play a part in how the forms auto-populate. Each case varies. However, if doing a general family-based case, you will link someone as a petitioner and someone as the alien, meaning someone is petitioning for their spouse, their child, their parent, and so on. To link someone, simply click on Link Case Party. A pop-up will appear giving you the ability to search for the client or create a new client profile. Once you have your client located, define their role as petitioner or the alien. For this client, we will say he is petitioning for someone. Our client is now linked to this case as the petitioner. Let us proceed to link the person they are petitioning for. Let us click on Link Party one more time, search for the client, and define their role as alien. You have now linked both parties. Before we move on, something we can do is right-click on either profile and open it in a new tab. This will come in handy if you need to make instant changes on a client profile that will reflect on a form. We can now proceed to click on the Forms tab to the right. Once in the Forms area, we will click on the form name or the Open Edit button to the left, taking us into the form. Once inside the form, we will notice our form has auto-populated with the client profile we linked in the Case Parties tab. You will see a pink note on the left letting you know which client transferred over. Because we linked a client as a petitioner, their info auto-populated where it is marked Petitioner's info goes here. And because we linked someone as alien, their info auto-populated where it says alien's info goes here. Now, even though by default it populated those clients you have linked as petitioner and alien, you still have options to replace info with other client profiles for this specific form. On certain sections, you will find the Select Party buttons. This button helps replace info with another client profile. If we click it, it will ask if we want to replace the client info as well as members of the client. We will select that one. We will then see who we have linked as a petitioner and who we linked as the alien, as well as people linked in their Members tab. If we select one of their names, it will populate that person's information. If we wish to bring back the person we had linked as alien, same steps. Click on Select Party, replace alien and members of the alien, select the person linked as alien, and their info will be brought back. Now, a quick tip. If working on a form and you notice something is wrong, you can manually edit the form, but keep in mind that edit stays only on this form. If all forms need to be updated, you can make the change in the client profile. This is where having the client profile open on a separate tab comes in handy. I can go to that tab, make the change there, come back to the tab where the form is. From here, you have the option of exiting and re-entering the form to have the info appear, or if wanting to remain on the form, use those select party buttons. Click to replace the client's info and select their name again. What this does is it will refresh with the newest info on the client profile. Now, we saw how a family-based case works out, but what if you're doing an employment-based case? It's similar. If we visit our Case Parties tab, we will see already linked client profiles. If not, we will click on Link Case Party. We will search for our employer. Once selected, we will define them as the employer. When doing so, we will be asked the address and the signatory. If you remember from our previous video, you can link a signatory in the Members tab of a business client profile. By doing so, you can select them here. The address is any branch address inserted on that business client's profile. We will select that as well. We have now linked the employer, but what about the employee? We will proceed to click on Link Case Party, search for who they are petitioning for, and link them as alien. We can proceed to go into our forms. If you go into a form, you will proceed to see business info transfer, including the signatory. You will also see who they are petitioning for as well. This concludes our video on auto-populating forms.
Please let me know if you guys have any questions about how to populate the forms, all those tricks of like opening multiple tabs, changing it, how to use this red button. This is key. I think this is one of my favorite features, the fact that I can just click and update or replace with any of the members, especially if you need to make a copy of the form. If you need two of the same forms, you can save time by making a copy. If you click select copy, and then just label the forms. Okay, I have already worked on Jorge's G28. Let me go and change his data from Jorge to Valeria on page 2, right here. You're gonna click select, replace, click OK, and then it transfers the data for, in this case, the petitioner. So you don't have to redo the work. The other fields that I had completed for the other form for Jorge are still there, the attorney's information, etc. So those little tricks will save you so much time. Please practice with the system. If you have questions, you can always contact us, but definitely explore, what happens if I click here, where like we have the supplements available for you. So those little tricks and shortcuts will save you so much time. All right, so I'm going to continue with the presentation. We talked about the basic steps. We have, let me go back to the PowerPoint presentation. So we have learned how to send the questionnaire, how to auto-populate the forms, and we have those form tools. Let me make sure that yes, it's right here. So we're gonna talk about these form tools briefly. Give me 1 second, and please message me if you have questions.
Hello, and welcome to our Cerenade video. In previous videos, we showed you how to populate forms. In this video, we will focus on additional tools and settings within the form. Let us access a case profile, and from there go to the Forms section. From the Forms section, click on the form name to bring us into the form. We are now inside the form. The first noticeable thing that you can do on a form is edit a field directly on a form. If you simply click on a field, you will be able to overwrite the area. Something to notice is when you overwrite the field, it will appear blue. This is just to help you differentiate between what auto-populated as opposed to what you manually inserted. All fields will print in black. We will now focus on the black toolbar up top. We will start with the Change Page buttons. If clicking the first one, it takes you to the first page. If we click on the next one, it takes us to the previous page. We can type what page we'd like to go and hit Enter, taking us directly to that page. And lastly, you have buttons to go to the next page and last page. Next to the Change Page options is Zoom options, how the form will appear. Proceed to find a zoom level you are comfortable with. Your next button is a Create a Note button. What this does is give you the option to create a sticky note. You can insert your note and drag it anywhere on the page. This will help you keep notes for yourself or other staff members accessing this form. Additionally, if you email the form as editable HTML, you can include a yellow sticky note with instructions for the client. When it comes time to print, you have the option to print with or without the sticky note. The next button is Type Anywhere. You already have the option to type on any field within a form. However, with Type Anywhere, this allows you to create a new text field. Same as a sticky note, you can drag and drop anywhere, and when it comes time to print, you can decide to include or exclude. The next settings are font options, where you can modify text fields. Please note that the software already has auto-reduce text size settings. However, this just gives you the options on how you want the text to look on a specific field. The next button is creating addendums. Most forms already have addendum pages at the end where it lists extra information about the client. With these addendums, it creates a page where you can enter any other information. When it comes time to print, you have the option to include these addendums. The last button on the right is a form data button, which can do a couple things. The first is a replace tool. With this tool, you can tell the software to grab areas of the form and replace with a text, such as grab all blank areas and apply not applicable. We recommend using this feature once completed with the form. Besides the replace tool, you also have a feature to make text in all caps. Just as it sounds, the software can grab every area of the form and make it in all caps. We recommend using this once finished with the form. The last things you can do is click Save on the form. And finally, you can print the form. When clicking Print, you will have options to exclude sticky notes, addendums, and Type Anywhere. When clicking Print, it will create a PDF where you can save onto your desktop and proceed to print. This concludes our video on form tools.
And like I said, those tools will save you so much time. Those are what we call the tricks and shortcuts. But definitely explore, try to practice with a dummy case so that you can feel comfortable using them, like how to copy the form or how to use the select button to replace data. Now, what happens when you want to send a client a form so they can review? If you select the form or forms, because it could be more than one, you click on either email form as read-only PDF, which as the name says, they can't edit, but we want the client to edit, so we're going to choose this one, email forms as editable HTML. Then enter the subject of your email. Please review forms. Select the recipient. You can CC or BCC anyone. And by the way, you can CC BCC, but they're not going to access the form. Only this client portal will receive it. It's just for them to know the instructions or the message. Now, this message is what you can customize in the administrative portal instead of using the default message. For example, maybe I want to send this in Spanish. You can change the message, okay? Instead of using the default. It's called letter templates. I can also add an attachment and send. Once I email the forms, I'm not sending the forms, the actual forms, to the email. I'm sending them the instructions because clients have to log in into their portal, click here, and review the forms. Actually, this is not the client that I need to log into. All right, so here they are. They're going to open the form. They're going to review. I suggest that you guys use the sticky notes because when the client opens the form, at least with the sticky note, they'll have like instructions that they can go by. Notice, of course, if you're sending the form for them to edit, they will be able to edit. So they can change the information. So let's say it was Happy Street, and then the apartment was 15, and that's it, and the zip code. Once I do that, once the client reviews the form or make changes, they submit back to you. It's very similar to what we learned about questionnaires. They submit back to you, they'll get this notification, you get an email from us, and you're going to log in into your caseworker portal, and you have the same indicator on top where it says questionnaires/forms. Okay, Here again, we see the name of the client, the form, and who sent the form. We're going to open it. It's going to highlight in pink the areas or changes that they have been modified. In this case, well, I sent an old form, so that's why you guys see a lot of changes. And I will click accept if I want to overwrite this particular form. All right. By the way, the changes on the forms are not bidirectional, meaning if the client enters something, it's only going to stay on that particular form. So the same I-130. The other form that I sent, which was the G28, because they haven't sent it back, it has this little envelope. So that means that if anyone else tries to open that same form, it's going to tell you the client has possession of it. Do you want to open the form as read only, or do you want to delete their access and then you can regain full access and start modifying the form yourself? Okay, so that's what the little envelope is for. If this form is ready and I don't want anyone else to make changes, I can lock it to prevent any other changes. And if you want to edit, just click again to unlock it. Now, how to add or create logs. On the right-hand side, I can add a log or a comment, and this is fully customizable. So maybe I want to add a note that it's related to grant or my legal advice. Here is my note. I'm going to share with the client. If I select her name or their names, that means that they can access the client portal and click on share logs to see the note or log. They can't delete or they can't reply. It's only for me to share this message, okay, in a read-only mode. So that's how you can add a log, and you can pin the log if you want to keep it all the way up. Let me see. Oh, by the way, if you go to the contact profile and click on logs, you can also show the case comment. So any logs that you have at the case level, you can show them here as well. It's going to tell you the case number, the type of log, and obviously the note. It gives you more details if you expand this, like who updated the note, which is right here, the one I just modified. Now, let's go back to the case. I want to show you how to gather the documents from the clients. You have a checklist for files or evidence that they need to upload. If you select them all and you click on share with clients, you can select the client and they can see this checklist. If they log in into their client portal and they click on share documents, they're going to see that checklist. So it's easier for them. It's actually easier for both of you. It's a win-win because they can see the checklist. They can upload their files. They can actually drag and drop all the files at once. As long as each file doesn't exceed 100 megabytes, then you're fine. And they just upload. It will ask them like this file, like let's say this PDF, what is this? Oh, this is my passport, or this is my college diploma. So that way, when you receive these files, they are already linked to the corresponding document that you requested. It's actually easier for you because you can run a report to see how many clients still have which pending documents to upload instead of going manually for every single profile to check. Okay. Now, the other thing that I mentioned was letter templates. Those letter templates you can create from the administrator portal and link into the process so that by default they show up here, or you can create a letter template from scratch. If I have letter templates that are already in the system, I can select them from here, bring them over like a cover letter, and then just click add. These letter templates, as I said earlier, can save you so much time because what they have is what we call tags. These tags, what they do is they pull data from the database and they auto-populate your document. So your cover letter, your motions, like any document that needs to be personalized with the case number, client social security number, name, date, etc., you can customize it and you save so much time. These cover letters you can download as PDFs, Word documents, or email them from here. Okay, I'm going to preview one of them so you can see how the details auto-populated with those tags. Once you have your forms and the documents and your cover letters and everything is ready, you click on Document Assembly. Document Assembly allows you to put together the package. I'm going to play the video and please let me know if you have any questions about this feature.
Hello, and welcome to our Cerenade video. In this video, we will show you the document assembly. With this feature, you can now gather forms, letters, and documents and combine them into a single PDF. Let us log into the caseworker portal. We will then go to a case we are near completion. Let us locate a case profile. Once inside the case profile, you will notice a tab to the right called Document Assembly. Let us click on it. From here, we will now assemble a document by clicking on New. You will then be asked to name the document and click on Save Changes. Once you name it, you will now see an area to the left where you can choose forms, letters, and documents. You will proceed to select the forms, documents, and letters you wish to add by clicking on the checkbox to the left. Once you have those documents selected, you will click on the arrow, which will then place it on the table to the right. From here, you have a couple options. The first is you can add a custom page if you'd like. This is if you wish to add any last-minute pages on the document. Once you typed out your message here, you can click on Save Changes. Please note, if you wish to have similar custom pages for future forms, it would be better to create a letter template of this message as opposed to a custom page. That way, you can pull the message on every case. Below is a link on how to create letter templates. Once you have your desired forms and documents on here, you can then decide the order of these documents. To move an item, you can simply click on the item, drag it, and drop it in the order you wish. Besides dragging and dropping these items, you can also nest an item, meaning I can make an item be a subsection of another item. This will come in handy in a bit. If you need to delete things, you can click on the X button. If you need to add additional documents and forms, you can go back to the section to the left, locate the item, and click the arrow to the right. Lastly, if you wish to unnest a document, you can click on the Nest icon. Once I have the exact order, I can then proceed to add a table of contents. When adding a table of contents, a pop-up will appear with your items listed. You can proceed to add more text if you wish. On the page section, you do not need to change this, as the software will automatically list the page number when you receive the PDF. Additionally, if you remember, we nested some items to be a subsection of a bigger item. This will also reflect on the table of contents. Once you have your table of contents set, you can finalize by clicking Save Changes. If you need to make an edit again, on the table of contents, you can click the Edit button. Please note that if you make further changes to documents assembled, the table of contents will reset. We recommend adding the table of contents once you are done assembling. Our document has been assembled and we are ready to email this to ourselves. We will now click on the Email Document Assembly button. A pop-up will appear where we can enter a subject, select recipients of this email. You can decide to add a footer number at the bottom of each page and a footer caption. This will add a footer through every page of the document. Lastly, you can select a letter template to email or manually type out a message of the email. You will finalize by clicking Email. Once you do that, you will then receive an email with the PDF attachment. From here, you will download it to your computer, save it, and print it if need be. If you review the PDF, you will see the table of contents. You will see the page numbers have been added if you added the footer number, and you will see the PDF in the exact order you dictated earlier. If you ever need to come back to this document assembly, you can go back to the case, go back to the document assembly section. This time, you will click on the drop-down menu. It will gather previous document assemblies you've created. If you need to create a new one, you can click on New and repeat the steps learned on this video. This concludes.
Now, just so you know, our development team has on their to-do list the option for you to download instead of just emailing the package for document assembly. For the reminders that you can create the reminders at both case and client level. When creating a reminder, you click reminder, reminder again, and add reminder. So the category of reminders can be customized from the administrative portal. For example, notify client of status. I want this action to be done next week, but I want the system to send an email or text message or both to the person in charge, maybe a day before they need to complete this. And I want this message or email to go out at 8 a.m. It's the person responsible or more people responsible, and I can CC the client as well. So they get an email again a day before. And enter the message of the reminder, the body of the message, and then click save. So now I have a reminder added at the case level. And if I go to the tickler report, which is on the left under tools, you click on tickler. Your tickler is your general dashboard where you can see all the reminders, expiration dates, and process steps as well. Not just for you, but also you can show the data for all your case workers. So if I look at the reminders in the next 30 days, we have 3 reminders. It tells me the type of reminder and any notes and who's responsible. You can print those and you can modify the changes. Now, the process steps are your to-do list. It's also kind of like a reminder because you can schedule an email to be sent in case you forget. It tells you what you need to do and when you need to do it. So it looks like on the 22nd, I need to call the client for follow-up, and I can just click on the link. Let's see, that's in the next 5 days. But in the next 20 days, we have all these process steps to complete. So let me just click on one of these cases to show you. When you create a case, on the right-hand side, click on Process Steps. Let me see, I have a question. We can directly download the assembled documents from Cerenade? Not yet. You can go to Documents, and if you gather all those documents, you select them here and click Download. That you can, yes. I was talking about the document assembly. You have to email the PDF with all the like the package with the forms and cover letters and everything. You email the PDF and then you print it once you get it. Yeah. So that option for downloading the document assembly is not ready yet. So for the process steps are again like the timeline or the workflow of the case. You can modify the process steps, enter the start date, and based on the number here, we will auto-populate the target date. You can delegate by selecting the caseworker, and if they don't finish doing that task, if they don't mark it completed, it will give you, well, depends, like you can uncheck if you don't want that email. For example, let's say that this internal review of evidence, supporting evidence, it's scheduled for the 24th and I'm the one responsible. I want to get an email. If I don't finish that on March 24th, I want to get an email reminder. So I check the box. All right. If you have something overdue like this one, it will show in red. And why is it not showing in red? Let me go back. Um, where is it? Oh, online. Okay, so let's say it was due on the 8th. Okay, here we go. So if you have something overdue, visually speaking, you can identify it really quick because it's going to be red. And you can see, what was this, who was responsible, if they didn't get an email, of course. But if this was done, you can just click complete it right here. Okay. Remember, all these process steps or target dates will reflect in that tickler. So the tickler will be your general dashboard to look at what needs to be done and when this needs to be done. Okay. And that's it. Let's go over the resources and support. Once you, Here we go. Okay, so sorry about that. So before we cover the resources and support, we do have areas of the system that you probably don't know. So please make sure you download my PowerPoint presentation so that you can click on these links and learn more about like how to share a document checklist with the passwordless link, or request them to upload. You can use billing, link your calendar, etc. So we have those, and then we have forms that are e-fileable. We actually have more forms than those already. Okay, here we go. So resources and support. You can contact us Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 Pacific Standard Time, except on holidays. You can call us, or you can email us 24/7. That's our email address. Also, like I said earlier, on your home screen, click on technical support and send us a message, or you can also send your feedback to developers. We have a user's guide available as well. And these trainings that we do for free on Fridays at 10 a.m. We have a podcast. I put the link right here. I also put the link for the Facebook forum page. Please make sure that you join if you haven't done it so you can talk to other attorneys that are using eIMMIGRATION. I never know how to download the PowerPoint. Okay, on the go to webinar menu, look for the option that says handouts. I'll wait for you. I'm not going to end the session until you find the handout and then click download. If not, I'll email it to you if you can't. Okay. As I was saying, don't forget to click on the link for the Facebook. You're welcome. Let me know if you were able to download it or if you want me to email it to you. This Facebook forum page is for you to interact with other users. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel called Cerenade Academy. Let me quickly show you. If you go to youtube.com, all you need to do is search Cerenade Academy, click subscribe, and that's it. You click on the little bell to activate the notifications. And every time that we upload videos like today's, training video, you're gonna get an email. We have new features here, and all the trainings that we do on Fridays are also right here. So please, please make sure that you subscribe today. These are the questions that you guys sent us prior. One of them was how to flag a client or a case. And I wanted to know what was the context of this question. Like, why do you want to flag it? Because, for example, I can flag a client because they owe money, or I want to flag a contact because we don't want to represent them. So that's also an option that you guys um, can do. If you go to the administrator portal, let me access the admin. In the administrator portal, under types, you're gonna see global client or global case alert. So you're gonna click here. You're gonna add the alert, and this is if you want to give them I meant your staff a warning or any success message, or you do have like a basic alert or an advanced one. This one shows if I have a client that has any members with an adverse member, like a abusive, for like VAWA type of cases, or I want the system to show us any clients that have overdue invoices. These are the advanced global alerts. Now, if I go to this contact profile and I click on the bell on the left, you see a little bell? You can add an alert. I want to maybe put danger or warning, and I want to put here, do not represent this client. See notes. And maybe my initials. So, oops, and maybe type notes correctly. So I can have this pop-up window. So if the receptionist or any other attorney or any caseworker tries to represent this client, when they search for them and they open their account, they're going to get this pop-up window that says do not represent this client. See notes. So this is like the warning. They can always add another alert, um, or modify this one. Maybe she came today, informed. I don't know. Like you can add any other notes to the same alert, or you can add a new one. Okay. That's the smart alert feature. What's the easiest way to get an alternate view when you are in the middle of a USCIS form instead of exiting out? Use multiple tabs. I can have a form open, such as the, let's say I-130, but I have another tab where I can go to the alternate view. That's basically how you can do it. You can open multiple tabs. I work on this questionnaire, I save it, go back to the form and refresh. So the data that I captured during the alternate or using alternate view, then I go back to the form and refresh. Got it, thank you. Okay, perfect. Next question. Let's see. How to link family members or employer with employees. Um, Again, go to the contact profile, click on members. I put the link right here for more details, but that's how you do it. Just go to members and link them. For the employer, by the way, it's the same thing. You have, let me close the alternate view. Here's the alert. Um, Members. Okay, for a business client, it's the same process. You would have a business contact and then just go to members, and this is where you link the employees or signatories. So it's the same thing. How to log time entries at the same time when adding comments. You may open also multiple tabs simultaneously and use a timekeeper module on a separate tab. By the way, timekeeper entries can be turned into logs, both client and case level. And the timekeeper entry logs can be edited. Let me show you how you can edit or allow this from the administrator portal. So if you're the admin, go to users, open the account or the profile for the attorney or caseworker, and all the way at the bottom where you see access rights, and I mean all the way at the bottom, you're going to see time entries. If you allow these two boxes to be checked, it means that they can create and update time entries. So what happens is if I want to create a time entry with a timekeeper, I don't have to wait until the time passes. Like for this one, I can just resume and it's counting the time, even if I move on to a separate tab. Or I can just create a time entry or modify this one. Okay, so I'll just click pause, edit. It wasn't 20 seconds, it was like 30 minutes, 20 seconds. And now that I was able to modify the time, I can move this to a log. So you'll select client or case, select the client that you want to move it to, and then just move this log or time entry. Here's the pop-up window. When you go to the contact profile, you're gonna see time entry. So you see the actual time capture. The 30 minutes are right here. All right. And the logs are also, if I wanted to add a log manually, you can create a time entry, like timekeeper category, and then I just type my notes. But that's if you want to manually do it. Maybe you don't have timekeeper and you just want to use the logs. So that's an option too. Thank you for those questions. They were really good. And lastly, addendum pages on most forms, the last page of often difficult to manage. It doesn't allow me sometimes to change the info. The reason why is because you need to click on the edit additional entries button. So let me quickly show you. I go all the way to the very last page. You click edit, and then it's going to show you if there were any additional entries. This one doesn't have because it's a new client and I don't really have information, but that's how it works. You click on edit additional entries. Let me see if I can show you on a different client. I'm going to use the shortcut, load more data, open the form, go to the last page. And of course, this is a form that it's locked. Oh my Lord, it's Friday and um, maybe it's because it's St. Patrick's. I locked that form. Remember I told you if you don't want anyone to mess with it, you can lock it. Well, that was me. I'm trying to go to the last page. Let's try again. All right, here we go. So If you want to modify the addendum pages, click here, edit additional entries. It's going to show the additional entries. You can select the arrest history or any other, marriage history, previous addresses, click save, and the system will auto-populate the page part and item number. If I want to modify this, I'm overwriting. See, it's not going to let me delete. So you have to click on edit additional entries if you don't want those to show. You just select or uncheck actually, save, and it's going to be gone. Okay, let me know if you have any other questions. You were too fast for me on how to set the smart alerts. Where can I go to read more? I sent you the video link, but it's in the admin. And also remember, this video is being recorded. What I did, I went to the administrative portal. You probably don't have access to the admin, but if you do, go to the administrative portal and you can either add a global alert, or you can go to the actual contact profile that you want to. Oh, likewise. Thank you so much. You can go here. I went to the contact profile and I clicked on the little bell. See, the reason why it's red is because I already added an alert, and you can add your alert. So anyone that tries to open that window, it's gonna see your warning. But I sent you the video link as well, and you can always contact us. This video is being recorded as well. And I know we're running out of time, so let me just show you the upcoming trainings for the month of March. And that's it. Please connect with Cerenade. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And thank you so much for your time. If you have any other questions, I'm going to stick around for a couple more minutes. If you have to disconnect, have a great weekend and stay safe. Thank you so much. You too. Thank you so much. Have a good day. You're welcome. Thank you for joining and your questions. I hope you learned something new. All right, so I'm going to end the session. Again, this video will be available on the YouTube channel. Please subscribe so that you can get the notification when it's ready. Have a great weekend, everyone.